The Wrong Bride, The Right Heart. Previous episodes are available on playlist, a link is given in the video description. Episode 10. Chapter 106. Jamie, I rushed through the elevator, my anxiety rising with every step I took as I quickly entered our apartment. The first thing I saw was Grant and Ray hovering together in the hallway. Where is she? I rushed out, panic taking over. She locked herself in there. We didn't want to break the door down, sir. Ray informed me, making my blood boil. What was happening right now? What is she doing? I rushed out before going to our bedroom door and knocking on it rapidly, not even bothering to let them answer. Baby, open the door. Is everything okay? I called out, hearing some type of muffled voices. What happened? I panicked. Grant just called to say Gabriella was sent something and I needed to come home right away. Someone dropped off flowers for her and it came with a card. There was a USB inside of it and this is what it said. Grant explained before pulling the card from his back pocket. I read the words. What was written made my brow furrow as Grant stared at me. You haven't been around behind her back or something, have you? He spat, making my eyes widen as I looked at him in shock. What? Are you kidding me? Of course not. I snapped, feeling completely offended that he would even say that. Then what else could it be? He asked and I began to rack my brain. What could be on that USB that could upset her? Shit! I whispered and turned back to the door. Gabriella, please open up, baby. I rushed out, panic filling me as I knew exactly what was on that tape, but whoever sent it, I had no clue. You just let her watch it? I asked Grant and Ray before jiggling the handle. No, she ran in there. I tried to get her to wait but she took it from me and went into the bedroom. He explained, making my heart drop. Baby. Please. I tried again, ready to break the door down when it suddenly opened and standing before me was an angry-looking Gabriella. I had a feeling this was going to be worse than when I didn't tell her about the fire. Sit. She commanded before pointing to the bed. That single word coming out perfectly as I swallowed hard. I wanted to hold her, to wrap my arms around my wife and kiss her deeply, but I knew it wouldn't help. I was in deep shit. I walked to the bed where my laptop was sitting. It was now open and paused on an image I knew well. I let my eyes drag across the screen, seeing Regina, Cecelia, and Georgia all sitting in a row, tied to chairs. Did you have anything to do with the fire? She asked while walking up behind me. What? Of course not, baby. Grant already explained that. I rushed out, seeing her narrow her eyes at me. It could have been a lie. You seem to do that a lot. Ouch, that hurt bad. Baby, I didn't lie about this, I just didn't tell you. Okay, that didn't help my case. Jamie. Why did you do this? She asked, pointing at the screen. I lifted my arm before running my fingers through my hair. My eyes closed as I let out a deep breath I had been holding. Honestly, this was kind of a relief. She found out. It was something I knew would come out one day, but I just didn't know how to even bring it up. I wanted them to feel for one day, one single day, the same way you felt all of those years. To experience the things they did to you, the abuse you received by their own hands. I said sadly, remembering all of the things I learned that Gabriella went through. I watched as her face dropped. The realization that I knew more than she thought set in as she let out a sigh and stepped towards me. I understand that you did this for me, but it wasn't your right to make that decision alone. She whispered, her palms sliding up my chest slowly as I let my head drop. I know she would always choose the high road, that's the type of person she is. She would rather turn the other cheek than hit back, but I'm not that type of person. I couldn't live with myself knowing that the woman I love was treated that way and her abusers just got away with it scot-free. I don't regret doing it, but I regret keeping it from you. I'm sorry, I said honestly, meaning it wholly. It might have been confess, but I really didn't regret a single thing I did to those women. I know you don't. She sighed, her hand rising to my cheek before cradling it sweetly. What am I going to do with you? She grumbled, causing me to smile at her sheepishly. Forgive me? I asked, trying my luck at attempting to look cute. Gabriella narrowed her eyes before letting out a sigh. You are lucky you are so handsome. She grumbled, making me perk up immediately as I went to give her a kiss. Gabriella quickly stopped me. Damn it, I knew it wouldn't be that easy. Jamie, this is the last of it, right? I don't think I can handle much more. She explained, making me nod my head up and down eagerly. That's it, I swear I just didn't know how to bring it all up exactly, but I should have made it a point to do it. I confessed, for being caught in yet another lie. I feel like a real prick for how many times this has happened, but that really is the last of it. Oh shit, there is one more thing I completely forgot. Well, there is one more. This morning, Grant saw Eva. I know, he told me. She interrupted. Of course he did. I can't fault him for it though, he obviously has Gabriella's best interest at heart no matter what. I was going to wait until I got home to tell you. I promise. I rushed out, hoping she believed me. I believe you, she whispered, making me let out a sigh of relief, and then Gabriella stepped closer to me, wrapping her arms around my waist tightly. I pressed my nose into her silky black hair, inhaling deeply as all of my troubles slipped away. Jamie, do you think Eva sent it? She asked, pulling me back to reality. I'm not sure, princess, but I will find out. I promised, wondering how the person who sent this got that footage. Only Mr. X had it, so either he betrayed me or someone stole it from him. Whoever it was that sent it, I have a feeling it's just the start, and this time it's not just me they are messing with. I have another person on my side who seems to be willing to go a lot further than I am. If it is Eva, then she should know by that video what I do to people who are a threat to my wife. Whatever plan she had to break us apart just ended up making us even stronger. It always does. Nothing will ever get between me and Gabriella, nothing. Alder, I stared over at Jolie, her eyes wide with excitement as she gripped my hand tightly. So, what do you think? I asked, trying to gauge if this was a bit much for a first date or not. I mean, how often do you get to ride in a hot air balloon? Shit, this might have been too much now that I think about it. It's incredible. I have never done anything like this before. She breathed, looking out beyond the trees and empty fields below us. It was a bit of a drive to get to Middletown, but it was worth it. Plus I got to know so much about Jolie on that 2-hour drive. We talked about our families and friends. She even opened up a little about her brother Nolan and the hard time he has been going through. Honestly, I could relate a little, just because of what Ben, my best friend, went through. After his dad went missing off of a crabbing boat a few years back, Ben turned to alcohol and drank really heavily. It was starting to become a problem, but we eventually got through to him and he stopped. I really hope her brother can do the same because even though I don't know the kid, I know how important he seems to be to Jolie. Yeah, that's how deep I am into this thing already, it's insane. Like even now, holding her hand and standing here together, it feels so natural. I don't think we have had one awkward moment this entire time. I glanced over at a smiling Jolie, her natural beauty stunning me for a moment as the soft rays of sun highlighted her blonde hair. I scooted closer to her, my arm coming around her back as I pulled her body closer to mine, catching her off guard. Is this okay? I breathed, memories from last night still playing through my head as I tried everything not to get a hard-on in front of the old man operating this thing. Jolie nodded her head, letting me step behind her as she leaned back against my chest. I wrapped both arms around her small frame and tucked her head beneath my chin. That's how short and adorable she was. She fit in my arms perfectly. Isn't this weird? She whispered softly, making me peer down at her. What? How we are so comfortable with each other already. She added shyly, making me smile and nod my head in agreement. I've decided not to question it. I teased, my head bending down as I hovered closer to her face. And why is that? She asked playfully before turning her head to look up at me better. Because whatever dream this is, I don't think I want to wake up from it. I know it was cheesy, but I felt that way. I honestly didn't want to question a single thing because I'm afraid something would happen. Jolie just stared at me for a few moments, her lips parting slowly as I stared at them longingly. I wanted to kiss her so bad, but I told her at the beginning of this date I wouldn't pressure her into doing anything. So I'm trying to behave. But apparently Jolie must have been feeling the same way I was because what she said next surprised me. You can kiss me Alder if you want to. She whispered, and I didn't even hesitate a single second. I pressed my lips to her, kissing her deeply as we floated up higher into the air. It had to be the most romantic thing I had ever experienced in my life, and if this guy wasn't standing awkwardly in the corner, it might have gone even further. I could feel it in the way she kissed me, all of those memories from last night rushing through us as I couldn't help but get lost in her touch. The way she tasted was so addictive. I don't know if it was the lip balm she used, or she was just naturally sweet, but I wanted more. I wanted to taste all of her. Jolie pulled away panting, her eyes were wide with surprise as she looked up at me adorably. I'm starting to think you might be trouble, Alder King, she declared before narrowing her eyes at me suspiciously. I burst with laughter, my hand rising before brushing her blonde hair to the side as the wind whipped it around wildly. And what makes you say that? I asked curiously, making her step closer to me. Because of the thoughts you put into my head. And what thoughts would those be exactly? I felt the air shift, the lust that came from those green eyes making my body shiver as she crooked her finger, signaling for me to bend down closer. I did what she asked, her mouth coming right next to my ear as I fluttered my eyes shut. Naughty ones, Mr. King. Okay, we are making our way down now. The old man yelled, causing me to stand up straighter as I just nodded my head, unable to keep my eyes off of this woman for even a second. I have never in my life felt an attraction like this before. It was magnetic. The moment that our feet touched the ground, I knew I couldn't hold back any longer. I took Jolie's hand, pulling her with me as I headed straight to our car. I quickly yanked the door open, helping her in as she looked at me with wide eyes. What's the hurry? she asked breathlessly as I slid into the driver's seat. No hurry, just want to beat traffic, I blurted, trying to keep my cool. What is wrong with me? Have I really turned into someone type who can't keep his mind out of the gutter? It's like I'm turning into my brother or something. No offense to Caspian, but he is a beast when it comes to Johnny. Did you have fun? I asked after pulling out onto the main road, trying to distract myself. Jolie just nodded her head before shifting in her seat, my eyes wandering down to her thick thighs as I watched, then pressed together tightly. I quickly glanced back to the road, my hands gripping the steering wheel as my knuckles turned white. She probably thinks I'm acting like a complete. I should say something, ask her what her favorite color is or if she likes pizza, something normal. The light ahead turned red, making the car come to a stop as I cleared my throat awkwardly. So. Before I could even speak, Jolie turned in her seat and unbuckled her seatbelt in one smooth motion. Her body leaning towards me as she hastily smashed her mouth to mine, surprising out of me. I felt her hands grip my shirt, pulling me closer to her as she moved her lips against mine, kissing me like I've never been kissed before. I felt her tongue slide against me, the way she took charge, turning me on even more as she left me a panting mess. Alder, I think we should get a hotel room. She breathed against me, making my head nod up and down, eagerly agreeing with her wholeheartedly as I turned and saw the light was now green. I hit the gas, making the car burn out on accident as Jolie burst into laughter. I swear I felt like a teenager again. What is this girl doing to me? All I knew is that I liked it a lot. Ch 108. Jolie, I don't think I have ever been this bold in my life, but I have also never been treated this way before either. When I saw those hot air balloons, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I know he asked if I was okay with heights, so I thought of a theme park or even the Empire State Building. Not a hot air balloon. It was so romantic, he was so romantic. The way Alder made me feel today was a feeling I've always dreamed about having. A feeling I hoped to one day experience, and honestly, I didn't want it to end. I didn't want to go back to our daily lives yet and say goodbye to him. I glanced over at Alder, seeing the way his chest rose and fell deeply caused my stomach to flip. The memories from last night were still so fresh in my mind, and I knew he felt it too. I laid my head back before turning to face him, watching as his Adam's apple bobbed up and down. Then he stopped, the light in front of us turning red as in the blink of an eye. Alder was on me. I felt his hands cup the sides of my face, his mouth crashing down onto mine as he kissed me roughly. I want you so back. More than anything I have ever wanted before. He grumbled against me, causing a whimper to escape my lips. Can I show you how much I want you? I asked, making Alder nod his head eagerly as I mustered up every ounce of courage I had. This was all new to me and I wasn't sure what had gotten into me, but I wanted Alder to feel good. Really, really good. Eyes on the road, handsome. I whispered, making Alder curse under his breath as he reluctantly dragged his gaze back to the road. I don't think I can drive while you are doing this. He groaned, making me smile to myself as I could see the effect I was having on him. Alder stared down at me, our eyes connecting as I swiped my thumb across his velvety tip, spreading the bead of liquid that had formed. Oh God, you look so beautiful right now. Alder breathed, his words making me feel even braver as I darted my gaze down, wanting to do more than touch him. Can I taste you? I asked, not sure how to phrase it exactly as a visible shudder trembled through the man. You can do whatever you want to me, Jolie. I'm yours. He whispered, making my eyes widen as I felt my heart leap into my throat. He really can't mean that, right? Even if he just said it in the moment, those sweet words caused my body to react. Well, I'm here now, so what are you going to do with me, Mr. King? I teased, making him smile wider than ever before putting the car in drive. I have a few ideas. Jamie, I glanced up from the paperwork sitting in front of me, my eyes landing on my beautiful wife as she furrowed her brow adorably. It's been a week since Gabriella was sent that video, so we decided she would start coming to work with me again, just to be safe. I had her desk stocked with everything she needed. Jolie kind of helped me out with it all since she has gone to the bead store with Gabriella a few times. I bought tons of stuff. The guy who owned the store suggested purchasing an organizing station that is the size of a large dresser. It has hundreds of little compartments for all kinds of trinkets that I had the man fill. I placed it in the corner of the office so Gabriella didn't have to keep her desk all cluttered. She cried when she saw it. I couldn't help but get all misty-eyed myself. I'm such a big baby when it comes to her. I can't even imagine what my mental state will be like when the babies come. I will just have to prepare for the worst. I've tried to avoid my mom and dad for the time being, not ready to talk about all of this just yet, but since the whole video thing, my dad has been keeping pretty busy with that and hasn't brought up him marrying mom again yet. Why is that so weird to say? But we did go to speak with Mr. X. I guess his computer had been hacked while he was out of town. He believes that whoever did it was very good at their job and must have been hired by someone willing to pay a lot of money. Which Eva does fall under that category. I can't think for the life of me who else would have the motive to do it. The only people who knew about that video were me, Rylan, Mr. X, and my father. Unless Regina said something, having seen the camera in the basement. But the fact that Mr. X said only my files were searched through, we knew it was personal. It wasn't just someone random who stumbled upon it. Mr. X said he would take care of the matter personally, free of charge. He was more annoyed off than my dad and I, which was a lot. Suddenly there was a knock at the door, drawing my attention away from Gabriella as I told whoever it was to come in. Mr. Sinclair, your meeting with Mr. King is in 30 minutes. My secretary Joanne reminded me as I nodded towards her once. Okay, please bring my wife a few snacks. My father should be down in a couple of minutes, you can just let him in. I explained, making Gabriella blink up at me. Jolie will be coming. Alder is going to drop her off, so we can have lunch together. My wife informed me, making my eyes widen. Wow, things must really be getting serious between the two. I mean, Gabriella has been keeping me in the loop, but I hadn't realized they were doing this type of stuff yet. Oh, okay, I guess tell my father he won't be needed then. I stated to Joanne as she smiled softly at Gabriella before nodding once and leaving. Everyone around here loves Gabriella, she even eats lunch with Joanne occasionally when my dad and I both have to attend meetings. Of course I'm not surprised. Baby, what's wrong? Gabriella asked before rising from her seat and walking towards me. I couldn't help but look at her small bump, feeling my chest swelling as she stepped in front of my chair. Her soft warm palm slid along my jaw, holding my head gently before tilting it back and peering down at me. Tell me. She whispered perfectly, her speech coming such a long way. I just wish we could figure out who sent the video. I confessed, knowing that is why I didn't remember Gabriella had already told me Jolie was coming today. Because I'm pretty sure she did. You need to relax, baby. I know this is all stressful for you. Gabriella whispered, her hands dragging down to my chest as she bit her lip. I watched as she peeked around her shoulder, her eyes landing on the door before coming back to me. Maybe I can help you with that. She purred, causing a shiver to tremble through my body. I felt her hands travel lower. The look in her eyes left me completely mesmerized as I swallowed hard in response. She gave me one of her heart-stopping smiles. We did have 30 minutes. I knew this wouldn't take long, sad but true. She tucked herself beneath my desk, her big blue eyes sparkling with excitement as I leaned back into the chair, letting my head fall against the seat as I let my eyes flutter shut for a moment. I loved this woman. I watched with bated breath, her mouth inching closer to my lip when the door suddenly flew open. Hey dude! Where's Gabriella? We brought burgers. Rylan boomed excitedly, causing Gabriella to smack her head on the desk. Seriously? What? Have you ever heard of knocking? I rushed out and just then, Jolie came striding in next. Where's Gabriella? She asked, and I was ready to lose it. Found it! Gabriella exclaimed before popping up from beneath my desk with a pen in her hand. Both Rylan and Jolie looked at her in confusion, making me glare towards them as Gabriella's cheeks burned red. Were you too? Rylan began, prompting Jolie to elbow him in the ribs, causing him to fold over. Are you okay? Did you hit your head? I asked Gabriella worriedly as she quickly batted my hands away. I'm fine. She grumbled, causing me to fight a laugh as I quickly pulled Gabriella down, making her plop into my lap. Don't be embarrassed, princess. Everyone knows you can't keep your hands off of me, so they should expect this. I teased. Gabriella slapped my chest playfully before burying her face into my chest. I glanced back up at Jolie and Rylan, seeing them standing there awkwardly as I narrowed my eyes at them. You're early, I said to Jolie before turning to Rylan. And you shouldn't even be here, I mumbled, making him frown. I wanted to see you Yuzi now that Jolie ditched me for the hunk. I have nobody left to hang with. He added quite sadly, and for a second I did feel bad for Rylan. But then I remembered how much of an annoying he could be. Fine, you can come to the meeting with Alder and me. I stared, making Rylan frown before glancing at Gabriella. But burgers? He muttered, making me shake my head in disbelief. Nope, come on, let's go. You are working for me today. Rylan, I looked out of the car window, my eyes glued to the passing skyscrapers as I let out a sigh. I don't know what it is lately, but I just feel like shit. Like I'm not sure what I'm even doing with my life or what my purpose is at this point. I'm getting too old to be in the club scene, and making it into a career might not have been the best idea. Let's be real, after the age of 23, I should have gotten that stage of my life out of my system. Then I have my mom who keeps bugging me daily to settle down and get married. Truthfully though, I'm not sure I even want that anymore. I feel like I've tried so hard to make things work in the past and I'm about done. The closest I had ever gotten to settling down was with my ex Madison. We met in college and dated for 2 years. I felt like I could really see a future with her, and then she broke up with me out of the blue, saying she needed to find herself and moved to Japan. Seriously, that was 2 years ago, and honestly, I haven't really felt a strong connection with anyone else since. Now seeing Jamie and Jolie finding their people, I just feel a little left out. I know this thing with Jolie and her hunk is new, but I see the way Alder looks at her. And Jolie, yet, she has never been like this ever. Even with Jamie it never got this bad. She is a goner. I swear she has to already be in love with the guy with how much she goes on and on about him. But I'm really happy for her, and Alder seems to be a really cool guy so far. He better not screw my sister over though. Or I might have to kick his ass. I already had to threaten Matteo to leave Jolie alone. She doesn't know about that yet, and I'm hoping she doesn't find out, but he has been snooping around a lot lately. Somehow he has convinced my mom that he and Jolie are soulmates or something. I don't know how Mom doesn't see past all the bullshit he is telling her. For some reason, she doesn't approve of Alder King. She acts like he is a thug and not good enough for Jolie. I'm just trying to stay out of it. As far as I can tell, Alder seems pretty respectful and like a genuine person. I have heard the rumors about his grandfather, but I'm giving Alder the benefit of the doubt. Who am I to judge? Did you hear me, Rylan? Jamie asked, making my gaze slowly drift to his. I wasn't paying attention. I grumbled, wishing I would have stayed with the girls. At least then I would have gotten to eat some real food, not like this high-end place Jamie is taking us to. Don't get me wrong, the food is good quality, just the serving sizes are like finger foods for toddlers. He doesn't even eat during meetings, he just gets straight to business and ends up talking for most of it. This whole car ride Jamie and Alder have been going on and on about some new technology they were both geeking out about. Who would have thought Jamie would find someone who actually liked to talk about that shit? They are a bunch of nerds if you ask me. What's going on with you, dude? You have been spacing since we got in the car. Jamie grumbled, causing me to sigh dramatically. What the point? I groaned before laying my head back and closing my eyes. You're going to have to elaborate on that one. Jamie quipped. Did something happen? Alder added, making me turn my head towards the window again. No. Nothing happened, I don't know. I mean, look at you guys, it's like you have it all figured out. We are the same age, for Christ's sake. You are married with kids on the way, and at least you are the head of a company and have a girlfriend? I asked Alder, who shrugged before smiling to himself. Oh yeah, he has it bad for my sister. I just feel lost. I confessed, not knowing why I was even being like this. Give yourself a bit of a break, okay? First of all, my situation is recent, very recent, and you have the clubs and stuff. Jamie said, making my eyes flutter open as I turned to look at him. Was Jamie trying to console me? Well, this was new. Besides, you will meet someone eventually, it always happens when you least expect it. Like with Gabriella, I never thought I would meet her that night. He added, prompting Alder to nod in agreement as I took his words to heart. Maybe I should stop stressing about meeting someone. I mean, I have been on a lot of dates lately, they just never go beyond the first one. I just don't feel that spark, that connection that goes beyond the surface. That's what I want, that's what both Jamie and even Alder seem to have. Maybe I should just leave it to fate. Just stop stressing, besides you have the club investments. You have made a name for yourself, Rylan, but if you want to go beyond the club scene, I support you. Jamie added, his arm reaching out as he slapped my shoulder in a supportive way. Who are you? I blurted, making Jamie scoff before sitting back in his seat. Your best friend, and not a very good one at that. He admitted. I swear I was close to crying. Just him acknowledging that was enough for me to move on from the abandonment I felt. The fact that he realizes it too, that's more than enough, and that's what I needed. I couldn't help but unbuckle my seatbelt and lunge for Jamie, making him stiffen. My bestie! I cried out playfully, making him groan as I hugged him. I heard Alder burst into laughter before quickly stopping. I'm sure Jamie was giving him the death glare. Sure enough, I saw it for myself as I pulled away and smiled widely at him. Get off before I take back everything I just said. Jamie grumbled, making me slide over to my own seat quickly. I saw Alder shaking his head while smiling to himself. What? I asked him curiously. You two just remind me of me and my brothers. He explained, and I couldn't help but feel like Alder fits right in with us. Even Jamie seems more comfortable than he usually would be with him. Maybe that has to do with Gabriella coming into his life a little bit. He is definitely a lot warmer than before, not just to me but to people in general. Okay, let's go inside and go over a few things, Jamie stated while we pulled up to the restaurant. Little did I know that this lunch would change everything. After going inside and confirming our reservation, we were seated at a private table in the back. That's when the most beautiful girl I had ever seen came walking up. I swear she had to be some type of model or something. She was absolutely gorgeous. Hello, welcome to Eden. My name is Tilly and I will be your server this afternoon. The petite woman said, making my eyes widen as I took her all in. She had gorgeous dark brown hair. The thick curls were swept up in a ponytail with a few loose strands framing her heart-shaped face. She had the lightest green eyes I had ever seen that popped even more against her lightly tanned skin. She wore the same black uniform that all the other staff members had on, but on her it almost looked sinful. The way the shirt clung to her chest and stomach, it almost seemed like it was made just for her and that skirt. I am trying everything to not full-on check her out right now. I swear I'm usually not this much of a pig, but this girl, I have never seen anyone like her in my life. She took Jamie's order first, her head nodding slightly as I swallowed hard, feeling nervous for some reason that I was next. Then those gorgeous greens landed on me, making me realize that one eye was a different color than the other. One was that gorgeous light green and the other was a light blue. What can I get for you, sir? She asked, seeming somewhat nervous now as she quickly averted her gaze, landing on the table in front of me instead. Just water is good. I responded coolly, maybe a little too coolly, because Jamie looked over at me in confusion like I was acting weird. Was I? The cute brunette nodded up and down hastily before quickly meeting Alder's gaze now. I watched her carefully, noting every move she made like some type of creep. And after she took Alder's order, the beautiful woman quickly turned on her heel and walked towards the kitchen. The way she moved was beyond graceful and regal. It was hard not to stare. Rylan, what is wrong with you? Jamie asked before kicking my foot beneath the table. You were right, it happened when I least expected it. Tilly, since the moment I woke up this morning, I knew my day would turn to chaos. I just knew it. My older sister Shayna usually only called that early when she needed something, so when I answered the phone, it might not have been the best greeting. What is it this time, Shay? I grumbled, only having gotten 3 hours of sleep for taking a double shift last night. Geez, you act like I always call you asking for something. My sister grumbled, prompting me to sigh heavily before rolling over in bed. Oh, so you just wanted to catch up at 6 in the morning. Okay, fine. Do you think you can cover for me today? I have a doctor's appointment I can't miss. She asked sheepishly, making my eyes flutter open. Yep, there it is. You can't reschedule? I asked, not sure if I could even function normally on 3 hours of sleep. No, this was the only opening they had for 2 weeks. Please, Tilly. My sister begged, but she didn't have to. She knows I would have done it without all of this. I know my sister and her husband Eddie were trying for a baby and this appointment must have been important. Fine, but you're taking my shift tonight then. I grumbled, causing Shayna to squeal happily before thanking me a few times and finally hanging up. Even though Shayna and I were 15 years apart, the age difference never really affected us. Some days it almost feels like I'm the older sister, to be honest. My parents had Shayna when they were in their 30s, so it's safe to say I might not have been planned. My mom actually calls me her little sorpresa. Which means surprise, which I definitely was. And that's how this whole day started. I drank 2 cups of coffee and took the fastest shower I ever had in my life. Then after kissing my father on the cheek goodbye, I caught the bus downtown and here I am. Little did I know that my day would get even worse. Of course, Rylan Walters would dine at a nice place like this. I should have expected it to happen at some point. I just have to try not to act like a weirdo, because while I know Rylan, he has no clue who I am. It all started when I was a little girl. My mother used to work at a dance studio, teaching ballet. I loved ballet just like my mom, but the place was way too expensive for me to attend even with the discount my mother got for working there. That never stopped me from sitting in the back and watching all the pretty little rich blonde girls twirl and dance beautifully. Then when they left, that's when I would dance. My mom was only an assistant coach, so she didn't really have much authority. But on the rare occasion when she had to stay longer and clean the room, she would let me dance my heart out until she was done. The summer when I was 8 was the first time I saw Rylan Walters. He had come to watch his sister's recital, and after that, he never missed a single one. Something about him always intrigued me. I don't know what it was. It's not like I have ever even talked to the guy. But I found myself daydreaming about what life might be like if things were different, if money wasn't an issue and I was dancing in that recital too. Would Rylan notice me? Would all of these people want to be my friends? Those are the thoughts that filled my mind over and over again until I finally gave up on that dream. I would never be one of them, and there was no point in wishing I was. In reality, we just struggled to get by. Mom ended up getting laid off from the dance academy and now works at the hotel downtown. Then my dad was in a horrible accident at work that left him blind in both eyes. So my sister and I ended up working as much as we could to help support them. Then Shayna met Eddie, and she moved out, so now it's just Mom and I trying to do our best to keep us afloat. I tried to be as positive and optimistic as I could. Now that I'm 20 and working full-time, things are starting to get better and better. And hopefully soon enough, my parents will be out of debt and we can start building up their savings again. So seeing Rylan sitting there might not seem like a crisis moment, but for me, it was. I didn't know how to act. I felt flustered and couldn't even look him in the eyes. I wondered for a moment if he would recognize me, but there was no reason he would. Honestly, I was always in the background. Besides, he was a little older than me and I'm sure has to be married by now with a couple of kids or something. So there's no reason for me to be behaving this way, it's ridiculous. I made my way to the bar, grabbing the drinks that Ryland's table had ordered as I quickly placed them on a tray and began walking back. Just be cool, Tilly, there is no reason for you to be acting like this, you're an adult now, for goodness sake. I straightened my back, a soft smile pulling at my lips as I soon reached their table. Here we go, I said before placing the drinks down and holding the tray behind my back after I was done. Are you gentlemen ready to order? I asked, glancing towards the serious-looking one first. He ordered a steak, his eyes darting towards Rylan a few times as I tried my hardest not to follow his gaze. Then I went to the next guy, writing down quickly as I swear he listed half the menu or something. For a moment I thought it was for the entire table to share, but I was proven wrong when the other two guys looked at him in shock. Are you going to be able to eat all of that? The serious one grumbled, making the tall guy close his menu before smiling brightly. As long as you are paying, he stated playfully, making me stifle a laugh. That's when I knew I couldn't avoid him any longer. I dragged my gaze across the table, looking into Ryland's deep green eyes as I swallow hard before opening my mouth to speak. And for you, sir? I asked nervously, feeling like my heart might just beat right out of my chest. What do you suggest? He asked me, taking me by surprise as I tried to think of what I would order. Then the menu I had memorized by heart suddenly disappeared from my mind. Great, just say something, Tilly. Anything. Soup, the soup is good, I blurted. Who just orders soup? Oh, what is the soup? He asked, making me blink my eyes rapidly. I glanced across the dining room, seeing the menu written out for the guests up front as I realized it was lobster bisque. Lobster bisque, I explained quickly as Ryland smiled before nodding and closing his menu. That's what I'll get then. The lobster bisque, he declared as I wrote it down swiftly. Is that all? I'm sure he wants more than that. Yep, that's it, he added, and I grabbed their menus before leaving. At least I didn't embarrass myself too much. He probably thinks this is my first day or something. Ugh. Suddenly my coworker Nancy came striding over as she took the menus from me. Tilly, can you please take over table 8 for me? I am close to losing it. We can switch if you like, she begged, making me glance back towards where Rylan was sitting as I felt my heart sink. Okay, sure. It's probably for the best anyway. The last thing I need is to get caught up with that again, but it was kind of nice to see him even if he didn't know who I am. Okay, her name is Madison Carter, and be warned, she is a huge. Good luck. Rylan, I nervously tapped my foot on the floor, my eyes watching the gorgeous waitress carefully as she walked away. Rylan, you're allergic to shellfish, Jamie suddenly stated, making my eyes dart towards him as I quickly sat up straighter. Not exactly, I mean my throat gets a little itchy and makes it harder to breathe, but I think I can fight through it. I shrugged, making Jamie burst into laughter as he shook his head in disbelief. Dude, you've got it worse than me, don't get me wrong. I admire your dedication to impress the girl, but you had so many other options you could have chosen from. Alder added. I can just share with you, I stated, causing Alder to laugh now. Yeah, we will see about that, Alder muttered under his breath, and I had a feeling I would go home hungry after this. But I don't care, I just want to keep seeing that girl Tilly. That's a pretty unusual name. I wonder if it's short for anything. I feel like it's adorable though, and she is definitely gorgeous. Something about her feels so familiar to me, I just have no clue why. While Jamie and Alder got down to business, I waited and waited for Tilly to come back to the table, and when another girl I didn't recognize came I was bummed. Did I freak her out and she asked someone else to take her place? Or did something come up and she had to rush home? I'm usually not this nosy. Okay fine, I'm super nosy and I couldn't help but ask. Excuse me. What happened to our other waitress, if you don't mind me asking? I stated while she began refilling our water. I could feel Jamie's amused look from here and refused to acknowledge it. Oh well, it was nothing personal. I just asked her to help with another table. I hope that's not an issue. Well actually, I began. No. It's no issue at all, thank you. Jamie interrupted before looking at me in disapproval. I just pouted and crossed my arms in front of my chest, feeling annoyed. At least she didn't change tables because of me. Once the food arrived, and Alder oh so kindly gave a dinner roll, I decided just to use the bathroom and hope to catch Tilly on the way through. Maybe I can ask for her number. Is that too weird? Or if I play this right, I can start coming in every day and hope she gets comfortable enough with me that we naturally become friends first. As I was going through all sorts of scenarios in my mind, I suddenly heard my name being called, making me snap out of it. Rylan Walters, is that you? A soft feminine voice called out, making me turn my head as instant regret rushed through me. Shit, Madeline Carter, my ex. What are the chances, seriously? Is it one of those things where you think it and that thought magically manifests into reality? Of course she wasn't alone either. She looked to be with another girl and two guys. Over here. It's me, Madison. She added before waving me over. I waved back, trying not to groan as I walked towards her. It's been ages. I was just thinking about you the other day. You do know I'm back now, right? I moved back a few months ago. In fact, this is my fiancé Frank. Madison rambled out, making me smile tightly as she introduced me to the man sitting beside her. Ah, nice to meet you, Frank. I mumbled and was about to step back when Madison began speaking again. Oh, I ran into your mother the other day. We talked for hours. It felt like she kept asking if it was single, and I thought for a moment she was trying to set us up again. When she said you were single, I couldn't believe it. She laughed, making the girl next to her laugh as well. Of course Mom talked to her great. That's all I needed was for Madison to think I was some pathetic loser who couldn't move on from her. Then I had an idea, one that didn't fully form before it blurted out of my mouth. Actually I have a girlfriend. I rushed out, causing Madison to blink up at me in confusion. You do? She asked, not believing me at all, which, I guess she is right, but I felt offended by the fact that she is this shocked. Yes, and she actually works here. I added, and then, like an angel coming from the heavens up above, there was Tilly. Oh, hi, do you? She began, and without thinking, I quickly wrapped her in a hug, placing my mouth right next to her ear. Please pretend to be my girlfriend just for a moment, I will explain later. I whispered, making Tilly stiffen beneath me before I felt her head nodding up and down softly. Wait, was she agreeing to this? The waitress is your girlfriend. Madison asked, making me pull away before snaking my arm around Tilly's waist as I glanced down at Madison coolly. Yep, is there a problem with that? I asked, making her face turn beet red as she cleared her throat before shaking her head no. Of course not, I just thought your mom. Well, my mom doesn't need to know everything about my personal life, does she? I asked, turning to glance down at a stiff Tilly as she just stood there, looking nervous. Right, babe? We are just enjoying each other before our families try to get involved. I added with a laugh, making Tilly nod her head before smiling up at me. How is she adorable all at the same time? I bent down, kissing her forehead as I watched her cheeks practically burst into flames. Well, you should get back to work. I don't want to get you into trouble again. Oh, can I see your phone too? I just wanted to check something. I asked her, making Tilly's eyes dart from me to the table before reaching into her back pocket and pulling out her phone. Okay. She mumbled, passing me the phone as I turned it on. Luckily she didn't have a lock screen or anything. I pulled up her keypad before typing in my number and calling my phone. I let it ring for a few seconds all while we stood there awkwardly in front of the table. So, you are back for good then? I asked Madison before turning off the phone and handing it back to Tilly with a wink. Yes, maybe we should grab dinner one night. I mean, the four of us, of course. She added before darting her gaze between me and Tilly as she laughed awkwardly. Yeah, sure. I added and turned back to Tilly. Well, better get back to work, babe. Call me tonight when you get home. I asked, making Tilly nod her head hastily before looking up at me with wide eyes. Bye. She said before raising her small hand and waving at me with the cutest look on her face. With that, I walked away, my heart beating erratically in my chest as I couldn't hide this goofy grin that now filled my face. Why was that the most thrilling thing I have ever done in my life? Thank you, Tilly, I owe you one. Gabriella, I bit into my burger, my eyelashes fluttering closed as I let out a loud moan. Oh my gosh, this really is the best burger I have ever had. Rylan is totally missing out, but to be honest, I'm kind of glad to get this one-on-one time with Jolie. She has been missing in action all week. At least that's what Rylan said when he called me a few days ago. I can tell he has been feeling left out a lot lately. I even spoke to Jamie about it, saying they should have a guys' night or something. But with this video thing going on, I know Jamie doesn't want to be gone longer than he has to. That's why we have two of his hired security guards waiting outside the door. Luther and Dax, I believe, or is it Bobby and Terrence? I can't even remember anymore. I have met so many new security guys, all the names seem to blend together. I thought I was bad at names before getting pregnant, now I'm even worse. I forget things all the time. Jamie just carries my phone around for me at this point since I seem to lose it every 5 minutes. So, how are the babies doing? Did the doctor say anything else? Jolie asked before wiping her mouth with a napkin. I shook my head no, trying to chew and swallow the big bite I had just taken as she waited patiently for me to respond. Just the ultrasound and look. I added before pointing to Jamie's desk where he now had a framed picture of the babies. You obviously couldn't tell any difference, but Jamie and I somehow could, or maybe we convinced ourselves we could as we studied them for hours in bed. I couldn't help but giggle as he pointed at what I thought was the baby, said, "Look, this one has your nose." I laughed so hard I almost peed myself. Of course we couldn't really see any features yet, but we liked to imagine we could. Aw, that is so adorable. I never pegged Jamie as a framed picture type of guy, but you continue to pull out all of these surprises. Jolie laughed, making my cheeks warm as I kindly returned it. I feel like the Jamie they knew is way different than the Jamie I know. I only get to see this sweet, loving, and affectionate side to my guys, so those types of things that might surprise others seem so normal to me. Speaking of surprises, I said before a goofy smile pulled at my lips as I began elbowing Jolie in the arm, playfully wanting her to tell me all the details about what was going on with Alder. I never had a friend like this before, and truthfully, this type of stuff was something that I looked forward to doing one day. Just sitting, having lunch, and gossiping about boys. It felt so exciting, and honestly, it was kind of refreshing to have someone else to speak about. I always felt bad for talking about Jamie too much, since Jolie's past with him and stuff. But now that Alder is in the picture, even that feels lighter. Oh my god, I just don't even know where to start. I never thought in a million years that someone like him really existed. It's crazy, Gabs, I swear it's like I have known him all of my life. Oh god! She exclaimed, making me slap my hand over my mouth as I tried not to spit out the water I just drank. I'm still not used to talking about that kind of stuff openly yet. Jolie burst into laughter and started patting me on the back. So it's good. I stuttered, feeling my cheeks burning with embarrassment. I can talk dirty to Jamie all night long, but the moment someone else brings it up, I feel like that shy, inexperienced girl all over again. Jolie nodded her head emphatically. Really good, like best I will probably ever have in my life, but I do only have one guy to compare it to, so. She shrugged as I couldn't help but scoff. You mean 1J? I grumbled, not liking that Matthew guy one bit, or whatever his name was. Jolie told me all about him. Yeah, I might even have to get my number changed. Look at the kind of stuff he is sending me. Jolie said before handing me her phone as I started to read the texts. Just don't scroll too far. Before she could fully warn me, I did just that as a picture of a man's member popped up on the screen. I let out a gasp, almost dropping the phone as I slapped my hand over my eyes. Yeah, that was my reaction too. He is such a perv. Jolie said while grabbing her phone back. That's horrible. I grumbled, trying not to shiver with disgust as that image will be burned into my mind forever. It didn't look like the only on either. Geez, poor Jolie. Maybe you should block him, I said, causing Jolie to sigh. I did twice. He keeps getting a new phone or something. She muttered and tucked her phone back into her pocket. Jolie, this seems like it's getting serious. Did you tell Alder? I asked, starting to worry about my friend as she frowned. I don't want to scare him off or anything. That's a lot to put on a guy I just started seeing, right? Besides, I'm going to dinner with my mom tomorrow night. I am going to talk to her about it and show her the texts. Jolie explained, making me frown now. Do you want me to tell Jamie? Maybe he could have someone talk to the guy, not in a bad way or anything, but he seems to have some type of connection. Maybe he knows some police officers. If he doesn't stop after this week, then I will say something, okay? Don't worry about me, it's just him being as desperate as usual. I'm sure it's after he goes to the club or something and he comes home empty-handed. She laughed it off, making me nod, as I was for sure going to tell Jamie about this. It might be against friend code or something, but I told Jamie everything, and this seemed concerning to me. Let's talk about something else. I feel like I dampened the mood now. She frowned, making me shake my head. No. It's okay, I'm glad you told me, I said with a reassuring smile as we started talking about other stuff, and that's when I heard my phone go off, prompting me to answer it. Hello. I already knew it was Jamie. You okay, baby? Miss me yet? He asked sadly, making me smile to myself as Jolie answered a call of her own. You know I always do, I whispered, making Jamie groan into the phone. Rylan just went to the bathroom and then we will head out. I'm bringing you back some cheesecake, princess, my husband said, making me gasp excitedly. You are? Yep, and then maybe after that we can continue where we left off earlier. I could hear the lust in his voice as I giggled in response. I will be there soon, okay? Oh, I'm getting a call. I will text you when I'm close. Okay, I love you. I love you too, baby. Jamie hung up the phone and I saw Jolie do the same not long after. I was just about to ask her if it was Alder calling when a loud commotion came from outside. I don't care who you are, no one is getting inside of this office without Mr. Sinclair's permission, a man stated loudly, making my eyes widen as Jolie looked towards me in confusion. He invited me himself. Eva Monroe, check the schedule again. You must have written it down wrong. Are you that incompetent? I should have you fired, a woman practically screeched, causing my stomach to twist. Eva? Why the heck was she here? Gabriella, I looked at Jolie, my eyes wide with surprise as the arguing continued outside. I have a very important matter to discuss with him. It's something he is going to want to hear, Eva continued, and that's when I had enough. I stepped forward, prompting Jolie to grip my arm as she looked at me worriedly. Gabriella, maybe you should just let the security guards take care of this, she whispered, making me pause for a moment. I hated this. I hated having this woman pestering my husband. How could she just think she could walk right in here and see Jamie without question? I know I would just brush stuff like this off before. I never liked confrontation or causing issues. But with this I just couldn't hold back. Jamie has done so much for me. He even went to Regina and my so-called family to teach them a lesson and not mess with me anymore. I want to do the same. I want to tell this woman to leave my husband alone and show I won't be passive about this. Jamie Sinclair is mine. I will just say one thing to her. That's all, I stated, looking at Jolie in the eye as I silently pleaded for her to let me do this. Oh God, Jamie is going to kill me for letting you open that door, but you are just so badass right now, Jolie groaned, making me smile widely before hugging her tight. Thank you, Jolie, I whispered and then took a deep breath, preparing myself for what I was about to do. I slid my hand down, cupping my small bump as I psyched myself up and walked to the door. We are going to have to escort you out of here if you don't leave in the next 3 minutes, one of the guards said as I slowly opened the door. That's when I saw the 2 large men creating a wall in front of me. Their backs were facing me as they stood straight as a board. I could tell they probably wouldn't be willing to budge even an inch. Jamie? Is that you? Eva called out, annoying me even more. Mrs. Sinclair, we suggest you go back into the office. Your husband is on the way now. One of the guys said, not taking his gaze off the woman in front of them for even a second. Oh, it's you. Why are you here? Eva asked, her voice filling with annoyance as I could only imagine her face mirrored the same. ISH should be the one asking you that. I retorted, causing the two guys to stiffen even more. I obviously couldn't see Eva considering the guys were practically glued to the floor in front of me, but I didn't need to see her to know that annoyed her off. I know you think you might be special to Jamie, that you are his wife carrying his child, but that's what was expected of you from the beginning, right? That's what the contract said anyways, that you would produce an heir in the first year or Jamie wouldn't get a dime from his rich little daddy. Eva began, making me freeze as I felt Jolie scoot closer to me. How did she even know about the contract? I didn't even know what was fully in it. So you might think Jamie cares about you, but I'm sorry to tell you, you are just a vessel to carry on the Sinclair name. Once you have those babies it won't even matter anyway. Okay, that's enough, come on, one of the guys said, stepping forward as he went to grab Eva by the arm. That's when I saw the wicked smile on her face, causing my chest to ache as I felt there was something behind it. All that stuff she said about the contract, I know it isn't true. Jamie loves me, and he has proved that every single day we have been together, but what she said about our babies, that was what worried me. Why? Why wouldn't it matter? I asked, seeing excitement flash across Eva's face. Because Jamie already has an heir to the Sinclair throne. Eva stated firmly, causing Jolie to scoff as the other guy now placed his hand on my arm gently. What a psycho! She is obviously lying, Gabriella. Jolie whispered behind me. Mrs. Sinclair, I think that is enough, you shouldn't engage with her further. Mr. Sinclair is coming up now. The guy said, making me swallow hard before nodding. I didn't want to get them in trouble, so I decided to listen. So you aren't going to even ask? Wow, you are just as weak as Cecelia said. She scoffed, causing my eyes to widen. Cecelia? Did she used to know Cecelia? Eva, that's enough. You need to leave this building immediately. Jamie boomed from down the hall, causing Eva to jump as she quickly composed herself. Oh, there you are finally. Eva sighed, making Jamie look even more annoyed off as he didn't even spare her a glance. Instead, he marched right for me, his hands coming up to my face as he looked down at me worriedly. Are you okay? She didn't hurt you or anything, did she? Jamie rushed out, turning my head from side to side as he examined me carefully. I'm fine, baby. I reassured him, making Jamie bend down and kiss my forehead, lingering for a few seconds before finally pulling away. Jamie, these men here need to be fired. Do you know they refused to call you and tell you I was here? Eva snapped, making Jamie tense before turning around and stepping in front of me protectively. I want this woman escorted off of these premises immediately. She is not allowed to step through those doors ever again. Jamie instructed the man next to Eva firmly, making her jaw clench in frustration. If you do that you will regret it, Jamie, especially with what I am about to tell you. Eva added, that excitement returning from earlier as she glanced back toward me. Her eyes settled on my pregnant belly. I don't care what you think you might have to tell me, I want nothing to do with you, Eva. Don't you get that? Whatever happened between us in the past, it's done with. I wanted this shit to be over with 6 years ago. Jamie shouted, causing the room to fill with silence as I stepped forward, placing my hand on his back gently. Baby, it's okay, let's go back into the office. I whispered, making Jamie just stand there for a few moments as he glared at the woman across from us. I see. Well then, I guess if you want nothing to do with me, then you want nothing to do with your son. Eva shouted, causing me to freeze as my stomach dropped. What did she just say? Jamie's son? What son? What was she talking about? Suddenly Jamie lunged forward, his hands wrapping around Eva's throat as I let out a gasp. Jamie! I cried out, watching the scene unfold in front of me as Eva just smirked at him wickedly. The look on her face was one of pure insanity. Don't ever, and I mean ever, spread these lies about me again. Don't you remember what happened the last time you did? There is no son. We trapped 4 times. Eva, get over it. Jamie spat, his hand tightening around her throat as her eyes widened with fear. 5 times, and that 5th time was all we needed. She choked, causing Jamie to study her face carefully. You're lying. There is no way. You are a psychopath, Eva, and if you ever come around me or my wife again, you will regret it. Jamie hissed, his hand letting go of Eva's throat as I lunged forward and wrapped my arms around Jamie's waist from behind. Jamie P, please. I stuttered, feeling overwhelmed as Eva tried to catch her breath while rubbing her neck. Fine, if you don't want to acknowledge your son, then don't, but maybe you should ask your father about these. Eva added, her hand reaching into her purse before grabbing a stack of papers and throwing them onto the floor. Before we could say anything else, Eva turned on her heel and left, leaving us all looking after her in bewilderment. What are those, Jamie? I asked, looking at what appeared to be some type of printed out emails. Jamie didn't respond. His body bent over as he reached for a piece of paper and began reading it silently. That's when a look of dread filled Jamie's face. It can't be possible. Jamie, I took Gabriella's hand, my rage reaching a point I had never felt before as I gritted my teeth together. If this was true, I don't even know how I will process it. Why was my father emailing Eva to begin with? We are going to put an end to this right now. I snapped, feeling like I could kill that woman, actually kill her with my own 2 hands. I pulled Gabriella beside me, her big blue eyes peering up at me worriedly as I felt my whole world crumbling around me. If this really is true, it could ruin everything. Would it be too much for Gabriella? Would she want to leave me? What about our babies and the life we were just starting together? It can't be true. There is no way Eva has had my child all of this time and never said anything about it. I marched straight to my dad's office, not even bothering to knock as I barged in angrily. Mr. Sinclair. Your father is currently in a meeting. His secretary tried to stop me. I didn't give a shit though. I wanted to address this now. If we have the files by Monday, then I can. Jamie? What's the matter? My dad said before shooting up from his seat and running over. Tucker, a man from our marketing team, was sitting in front of his desk and also stood, surprised by my abrupt entrance. We need to speak to you alone, I said as calmly as I could, which wasn't very calm at all. Gabriella just stood beside me, her eyes locking onto the floor beneath us as she seemed lost in thought. Tucker, I need a moment with my son, please. My dad said quickly, making Tucker nod once before gathering his things and leaving. The moment the door closed, my dad turned to me, worry filling his eyes. What's wrong? Is everything okay with Gabriella? With the babies? My dad asked, looking towards Gabriella anxiously as I led her over towards the leather chair Tucker had just vacated. Sit down, baby, I whispered, making her shake her head no as she gripped my hand tighter. That's when I realized she wasn't worried about the Eva shit, she was worried about me. I want to stay by your side. She stuttered as tears brimmed those beautiful blue eyes as I tried to calm down. I won't be going anywhere, okay? I just want you to rest your feet, please, baby. Sit down, I said softly, making Gabriella bite her lip before nodding and doing what I asked. What is going on? Did something happen? My dad spoke up again and I snapped my gaze towards him, that anger igniting once again as I looked down in my hand, realizing I was still clutching those papers. You tell me, Dad, what is all of this? I boomed, slapping the papers against my dad's chest as he looked taken aback. My dad glanced down, grabbing the papers Eva had left as he started to sift through them. I lifted my arm, running my hand through my hair in frustration as Gabriella stared towards us nervously. I went to her side, her hand gripping mine tightly as I tried to calm down. I just needed an explanation soon or I might explode. How did you get these? My dad asked, his brow furrowing in confusion as he read through them. Eva stopped by, claiming that I have a son and you knew about it. Please, Dad, tell me this is all bullshit. Tell me she made it all up and those aren't from you. I begged, looking at my dad anxiously as he let out a sigh. Jamie, this was something I was handling. Handling? What do you mean you were handling it? Handling what? I snapped, and that's when Gabriella stood up and placed her palms against my face. Baby, calm down. She whispered, her words causing my eyes to flutter shut as I took a deep breath and tried to do what she said. Son, I know this is alarming, but did you even read the emails? This all started after you ended things with her. My dad began, making my eyes open as Gabriella wrapped her arms around my waist and hugged me, not wanting to sit back down. What started? Why didn't I know about this? I asked, making my dad sigh as he walked over to his desk and placed the papers down. Eva started to claim that she was pregnant by you. Trying to get me to force you to marry her. I asked for proof and she never gave it. Then she said you made her get an abortion. I didn't, you know I wouldn't do that shit. I snapped, making my dad nod his head before holding his hand up to try and get me to calm down. I know, son, I never questioned any of that, and then you got the restraining order and she seemed to move on, until... He began, grabbing the top paper off of the stack before walking towards me. She sent this 2 years later. My dad said, passing me the email as I looked down to read through it. Eva went on to tell my dad that she birthed a son that I was the father to. She says she wasn't sure who the father was at first, considering her current husband was also a potential candidate since she slept with both of us around the same time. After getting this, I asked for a DNA test. I wanted to make sure that this wasn't a real possibility, Jamie, but she refused the test 6 times. Once I started to really press her, she said it was a lie. That she made her husband take a test and it came back positive, so I just dropped it. My dad explained, making me sigh. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, making my dad frown before he slipped his hands into his pockets. Because I knew what she had put you through, son. You kept a lot of what you were going through away from your mother and I, but when I dug a little further I found out you aren't the only one she has stalked. Even her ex has filed a restraining order against her now. She hasn't said a single thing about the child since, so I thought it was over with. He explained, and I didn't know what to think. Why is she claiming the child is Jamie's now? Gabriella asked, making me look down at her as she stared towards my dad now. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it has to do with her divorce. Apparently her husband made her sign a prenup and refuses to pay her spousal support considering her harassment towards him. My dad explained, and I didn't know what to think. Did she ever send you the DNA test she received to prove her ex was the dad? I asked, hoping to God my father says yes. I had always used protection when I was with Eva, but when she said something about a fifth time it was almost like something in my mind clicked, a memory of a night after I ended things and she showed up at a club I had gone to with Rylan. I didn't drink that much and ended up getting more drunk than usual. Then I woke up in a hotel room all alone the next morning. I didn't know what happened exactly. No, she said she didn't need to and I had no right to ask for it. My dad said, making me feel sick to my stomach. What is it? My dad asked. I could feel my heart aching from the mere possibility that this could be a thing. But before I could speak, Gabriella spoke up first. I think we should get a test done first just to make sure. She whispered, causing my eyes to widen as I stared down at my wife. I could see the love pouring out of her, the way she held onto me and how she wasn't mad or upset. How did I get so lucky? To have someone like her by my side and to continue to love and support me even through this. Then I remembered. Gabriella herself was the product of an affair. Obviously my situation isn't the exact same. I would never do that to Gabriella, not in a million years. But if this was true, and Eva had my son all of this time, Gabriella might be more understanding of this than anyone. Don't worry baby, we will figure this out together. She breathed before rising on her toes and kissing my lips gently. All I could do was hang on to her for dear life. To think I could have had a son this whole time. If that's true and Eva was hiding this from me, I know for a fact that I will make her pay. John, I looked down at my watch feeling anxious like never before, and I thought the plane ride over was excruciating. This car ride was much worse. I just wanted to see my little girl. I know in the past she might have done things I haven't approved of, her and Cecelia both, but I loved all of my children. How couldn't I? I just wished things could have been different. I should have been there, and now that I get this second chance with not only Gabriella but now Katrina, I will be there. Suddenly my phone vibrated, making me glance down at it just as a text popped up. From Monica, everything is going to go great, I just know it. Call me when you get a chance, stud muffin. I couldn't help but smile. Whatever this was going on between us, honestly it was the last thing I ever expected. I never would have thought someone like her would even look at an old geezer like me. Okay, I might be in my late 40s, but she is only a few years older than my own daughter. Monica just makes me feel alive. For the first time since I lost Amber, I feel like I am actually falling in love again, which scares the shit out of me because I have no clue what she is even thinking. Gabriella seemed to have taken the news well enough, but I don't plan on telling Katrina about Monica until I figure out just exactly what is going on. Sir, we are arriving at the Easton residence now. My driver informed me as I nodded once in response before tucking my phone away. I grabbed the bouquet of flowers I picked up on the way and glanced out the window, surprised by the large mansion that appeared before me. We stopped at a gate, giving the security guard our information before he let us pull through. This place was huge and the yard was well manicured with large trimmed bushes lining the driveway. Then there was a fountain that appeared in front of the home with beautiful rose bushes all around it. I was a little taken aback by the friendly faces that waited for me on the front steps. It looked to be two older women and a younger-looking man standing beside them. Once the car stopped, the driver got out and opened my door. After stepping outside, I quickly grabbed my things and started walking towards the small crowd of people waiting for me. I still didn't fully trust Grant, to be honest, so his decision to stay back in New York might have been a good one. "Mr. Kensington, I hope you had a great flight," the young man said warmly, his hand extending out. I chose to ignore it, looking over at the women beside him instead. "Yes, it was fine. I am guessing these must be the doctors I was told about?" I asked, watching as the man awkwardly pulled his hand away before nodding. "Okay, I felt kind of like doing that, but I needed to see Katrina first. I needed to make sure she was in good hands before I gave in to this." "Sir, this is Dr. Debbie and her associate Diana," the man explained. He had light brown hair and grey eyes. He looked to be around the same age as Katrina. "If you come this way, we can give you a tour of the house and take you to your daughter. She is just getting dressed now," he continued on as I nodded and followed him into the house. As I expected, the inside of the home was just as nice as the outside. "Kat really likes to sit over here and look out at the fountain. We just started getting her up into a wheelchair recently." I wondered for a moment just exactly who this guy giving the tour was. Perhaps he is a nurse? I know Gabriella mentioned Grant had brothers, but I doubt they would be this heavily involved. I just kept quiet, feeling more and more anxious with each step I took as we headed towards an elevator. We had this added recently to help with Katrina's mobility, the man explained as we all stepped into the small space. "Considering she has the entire third floor, we want her to be as comfortable as possible since this is her home for the time being." The guy rushed out, making the doctor look at him sideways before clearing her throat. "If you agree to let us keep her here, of course I can assure you that my associate and I are giving her the best care that we possibly can," the doctor tried to assure me. "Well, I will be the judge of that. Although I would prefer to have Katrina be closer to me in New York, that way her family could visit her more often," I said as the elevator doors opened. "But sir," the young man went to object, prompting the older woman to stop him. "Please, come this way," Dr. Stevens instructed, guiding me down a sunlit hallway as we neared a room. That's when I heard soft humming, the sound surprising me as we came closer to the door. "Let me just tell her you are here," the young man said, walking ahead of us as the older woman let out a small laugh. "I apologize, sir. Mr. Easton's brother, Grayson, has become very protective over Katrina these past few weeks," she explained, making my eyes widen as I realized that the man was Grant's brother this entire time. "Kitty Cot, he is here," Grayson whispered while opening the door slowly. "Already?" I could hear my daughter gasp as my heart practically leaped from my chest. I felt my feet moving on their own, my hands starting to tremble as I walked into the room, seeing it was tastefully decorated in all sorts of things my daughter must have picked on her own. She had an eye for fashion and design, she always did. Then I finally saw her in person. She truly was alive. I had talked to her on the phone a few times, but actually seeing her, it made it that much more real. I couldn't help but stare as I walked around the bed, my eyes taking in her appearance as I felt my heart ache. She had on a pink stocking cap with an oversized white sweater. Her head was tilted down as she stared at her scarred hands that rested in her lap. "Hi, Daddy," she whispered, making my lip tremble as I fell to my knees at the side of her bed, unable to control my emotions. "Katrina, my sweet girl, I never thought I would see you again," I choked out, making Katrina bite her lip anxiously as she shut her eyes tight. "I wasn't sure if you wanted to see me," she confessed, making me shake my head no as I reached out to touch her scarred cheek. "How could you ever think that? I love you, and the day I thought I lost you, it destroyed me." Katrina's eyes snapped open as she looked over at me. "It did?" she asked, making me nod as I smiled sadly. "You can even ask your sister when you see her next." Does she want to see me?" Katrina asked, making me reach down and take her hands in my own. "Of course she does, you know Gabriella cares about you." I was surprised to see Katrina like this. I don't think I have ever seen her show this much emotion since she was a young child. "When you two didn't come around, well, I wasn't surprised. I haven't been very kind to you both, I know that now." She began to cry, making Grayson grab a tissue box from somewhere in the room and bring it over. "I hadn't realized he was still in here." "Take your time, Kot, you don't have to rush this," he whispered to her, making Katrina nod before Grayson actually wiped her face and nose with a tissue. That's when I started to see he must have really grown to care for her, as the doctor said. "Do you like it here, Trina? Are you getting good care?" I asked once Grayson stepped aside. "Yes, Daddy, I really like it. I hope you aren't spending too much on me, though I would feel bad." I looked at her in disbelief, wondering if this really was my daughter, as she seemed to have such a different way about her. I don't know how this would be possible, but somehow she seemed happier. I lifted my hand, wiping away one of her tears as I just stared at Katrina with so much adoration and hope, as I realized that perhaps she truly is getting the best care here. "Don't worry, sweetheart, you can stay for as long as you like," I whispered, making her smile and nod at me as I saw the young man in the corner let out a relieved breath as he too began to smile. I'm not sure how much Katrina knows about these people and why she was brought here, but I don't think I have the heart to tell her, not with how happy she seems to be. She might be too fragile to hear it. I guess this will be one secret we will all have to keep. I just don't know how much it will hurt her if she does find out. "Rylan," I plopped down in my bed face first, a groan leaving me as I couldn't believe the day I just had. Has there always been this much drama before? I swear the past 2 months have been the craziest days of my life. I feel exhausted. I mean, I know I'm not the one with the psychotic ex claiming to be my baby mama, but I feel for Jamie. Especially considering he has Gabriella now and the twins on the way. Then there was Tilly, oh sweet beautiful Tilly. It was like God opened up the heavens and let out an angel, placing her right in front of me. Something about her just seemed so familiar, I just couldn't put my finger on it. It was hard not to feel giddy when I thought about her. I could tell she was the shy and nervous type. I loved seeing her cheeks burn when I asked her to pretend to be my girlfriend. It was so cute. I felt myself smiling. The way her body felt beneath me, and how her sweet perfume made my mouth water. Oh God, she was perfect. Suddenly I heard my phone ringing, prompting me to pop my head up as I looked towards the nightstand. That's when I saw my mom was calling, making me sigh dramatically before reaching over and grabbing it. It's like she can just sense when I'm trying to relax. I swear, I have a feeling after this call I will be even more stressed out than before. Hey mom, what's up? I grumbled, making her gasp. Rylan Lane Walters, is that how you greet your mother? She asked, sounding all offended. Sorry, I just had a long day. I muttered sheepishly before sitting up straighter. Why, what happened? Have you heard from Nolan? He hasn't returned my calls today. She rushed out, making me close my eyes and rub my forehead, feeling a headache coming on. I did talk to Nolan earlier and he said Mom was bugging the shit out of him, and then he asked me to tell her to back off a little. Yeah, I did. He was just having a rough day, Mom. Maybe cool it on the constant calls for a little, okay? I said as gently as I could, trying not to make a big deal out of it. I'm just worried about him. She began, her voice cracking as I knew the waterworks were coming soon. I know, Mom, he knows that too. I think he is just trying to do some type of new holistic approach or something and is staying away from technology for a little. Okay, I just made that shit up. But it sounded pretty legit to me. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. She said before sniffling as I felt relieved that actually worked. What about your sister? Did you talk to her about Matteo? She asked next, making me literally slap my palm to my face. Not this shit again. Mom, I already told you she isn't into Matteo, the guy is an asshole. Rylan language. Mom interrupted, prompting me to sigh and start again. The guy is a real piece of work and she is seeing Alder now. Jolie really likes him, Mom, and he likes her too. I said, hoping she actually listened for once. Well, we will see. Those types of guys just go from girl to girl. I think Jolie should keep her options open. Weren't you just trying to marry her off to whatever guy would take her first? Now she suddenly has options. I asked, feeling truly baffled by this woman. Rylan, I'm not trying to marry her off, I just want what's best for her. Well, take my word for it. Matteo Hernandez is not it. I grumbled, wanting to kick the guy for the shit he put Jolie through. Enough about your sister. How did your date go tonight with the Olsen girl? My mom asked, making my eyes widen. I completely forgot. Shit. Mom tried to set me up with one of her friend's daughters and I was supposed to meet her 2 hours ago. About that, I trailed off, knowing this wasn't going to go over well. What happened? I kinda sorta forgot, I muttered, making my mom go silent. Rylan, you stood her up? She asked, making me wince. I don't know where I went wrong. Was I that bad of a mother? None of my children have settled down. My youngest is in rehab. She went on, making my eyes widen. Wow, that took a quick turn. Mom. Just calm down. I forgot because, well, I ran into someone. I said, making my mom stop crying as I could tell she was intrigued now. Who? I think you know who, considering you seemed to have a whole conversation with her the other day apparently. I grumbled. Madison, did you meet her fiancé? She asked curiously as I stood up and started walking to the kitchen. Maybe I need a drink for this. I guess it was brief. I shrugged to myself and went to reach in the freezer for the vodka. I bet you are so much more handsome. She spent all that time in Japan for what? She didn't even meet a husband there, her fiancé is from Florida. I guarantee you Rylan she will dump that man in a month and I bet she will come right back to you. Mom said excitedly, making me laugh, like actually laugh. I doubt it, Mom, and besides I don't want her anymore. Don't be ridiculous, Rylan, she was perfect for you and her mother just opened up that art gallery downtown. That shit doesn't matter to me. Well, I was just saying, but anyway, perhaps we can invite her to the dinner tomorrow. Jolie told you about it, right? She asked, and I slammed the vodka bottle down on the counter, making the sound echo off the walls. Mom, you are not inviting Madison to our family dinner, and besides you told Jolie she couldn't bring a date. That's what Jolie said, at least. Well, she can't and Madison wouldn't technically be a date. Okay, Mom, enough. I don't want anything to do with Madison. Sweetheart, you are almost 30, it's time to start thinking about your life long term. She was your last girlfriend and I know you really loved her. Don't you still feel that way deep down? I'm only 26 Gs. No, Mom, I don't. In fact, I didn't want to say anything, but I have been seeing someone. I blurted, wanting to end this shit and get her off of my back. What? Who? Since when? She rushed out, making my hand rise up as I rubbed the back of my neck nervously. It's a good thing she wasn't here or she would see that I was lying just from that motion alone. It didn't want to say anything because she wanted to keep things kind of private. Do I know her? No. She isn't like the girls you set me up with, Mom. I met her at a restaurant where she works. Oh. Is that a problem? I asked, knowing my mom was probably screaming internally now. She claims to not care about status and wealth, but the people she tries to hook us up with seem to contradict that. Of course not, Rylan. What do you take me for? Why don't you bring her over for dinner tomorrow? Wait, what? I will let the chef know to add an extra plate. She went on, already dismissing me as I tried to object. But I think. See you tomorrow at 6, sweetie. Don't be late. My mom rushed out before hanging up on me as I knew without a doubt I was in deep shit. What am I going to do now? Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.